the Ovens and Murray Netball League. Will it be the Coral Rutherglen Roos or the Yarrawonga Pigeons to secure their place in this year's grand final, earning the right for a week off? In just over an hour, we will know. A big welcome, as always, to you, Tamara Matthews. If last week is anything to go off, we are in for a cracking day. How has your week been?
Yes, good to be here, Ree, for another big day of finals. And look, judging by what's already happened this morning, we had our 7 and under game this morning go into double overtime. So if that's anything to go by, hopefully we've got a good game in our hands.
Oh gosh, double overtime. That is insane. I would like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast from today, the Wiradjuri and Yorta Yorta people, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend to this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Tamara Matthews, it will be great today. We're going to have Tina Way, the last year's 2021 season coach of the O&M Netball Team of the Year, and the current A-grade coach of the Myrtleford Alpine Saints. She'll be joining us thanks to Insight Injury Clinic, providing some special comments.
Yeah, it will be great to have Tina on board. She, as you said, assisted with our interleague side this year, so really looking forward to hearing her comments. She's just coming off the back of an umpiring gig, so we'll let her catch her breath before she comes over. But yeah, great to have her insight.
Wearing all the hats today, and we'll have a look back at the elimination finals from last Sunday. So that being that the losers of Sunday's games are now out. The winners progress to tomorrow's game, again a sudden death game in the under-17s, a close game. North Albury 50 defeating Coral Rutherglen 45. Interestingly, North Albury came from behind, 11-goal turnaround in that under-17s game. C grade, another close game. Coral Rutherglen 32 defeating North Albury 30. The Roos were up by 6 at three-quarter time, and North Albury marched that comeback, but I think the Cora crowd there at the Albury Sports Ground got them over the line. In B grade, Myrtleford 43 defeated Yarrawonga 42. Myrtleford were up by 5 at half-time. It was even at three-quarter time, and they clinched that victory. And I was sitting on the other side of the football ground watching the footy, and I heard the crowd go up at the end, not knowing who had won that game.
No, I was on the scorebook, and we thought that was going to a draw. It was a tight one.
Fantastic to see. And then in the A grade, Wangaratta holding on against a very formidable Albury team, just wouldn't go away, 39-36. Wangaratta up 14 goals to 4 in that first quarter. Albury got to be up by 1 at three-quarter time, but Wangaratta turned it around, got that 3-goal lead, and we gave Liv Richards the best on Sunday.
It was a fantastic game, and I think it just showed what finals can bring. You know, a team can be 12, 14 goals up, and you have a team like Albury who know that their season is on the line, and then they have to leave it all out there. And to come back and get into that game was outstanding, and to make it the game it was. And great to see someone like Liv Richards come into that. She hasn't had a lot of court time this year, but again, this is what finals brings.
And it was great, the post-game interview with her, nice and raw, and you could just see how much she loves being a part of that Wang Magpies team, and we will speak a lot more about them tomorrow. Tam, could you just give us a little rundown on the 2 games that have played out already here at John Ford Oval this morning?
Yeah, so this morning, like I said, started off with Wodonga Raiders against Wodonga Bulldogs in the 7 and under, and these guys had a draw in their second game of the season, so we knew it was going to be a tight one, and it went down to the wire. Scores even at the end of 4 quarters, so both teams play 5 minutes each end. Scores were still level, so the teams play on, and it's the first team to a 2-goal advantage that takes the win. So today it was Wodonga Raiders. They finished the top. They've been a really outstanding side for a couple of seasons now, so they will go through. But Wodonga, I know their coaching staff were happy with the really courageous showing that they put on, but also the experience they'll get from today. So they've had 2 finals now, and I think they'll go into next week really ready to try and take on a grand final spot.
And Albury cinching the win in the C grade game, taking the win from Lavington. I think in the end, we're just trying to confirm that, but there was only a couple of goals in it. 2. There we go. We just got confirmation. Sorry. Albury Tigers taking the C grade victory there by 2. So they are straight into the fortnight's time grand final, which is great for the Albury Football and Netball Club.
Yeah, and another interesting result, Lavington finished on top, but in both games during the year, Albury have won. So it's funny how you get to finals and some teams just have these bogey teams, and it seems to be that way for Lavington and Albury.
Well, looking on to today's game, Cora Rutherglen taking on the Yarrawonga Pigeons. Cora Rutherglen sealing up that minor premiership by 1 game, 4 points on the ladder. Yarrawonga coming in second. Yarrawonga coming off last week's win against Lavington and a great few last rounds of the season. A comprehensive win over Wangaratta in the last round, that win over Lavington last week. Do you think the week off is going to hurt Cora in any way?
I don't think it's going to do them a lot of favours. Now, and I say that because they came off their last few games of the season weren't against top sides. They probably played the 3 bottom sides. And now, thankfully, we have a competition this year where there are no easy games. So that's not to say they were easy games for them, but I think they would have liked to probably test themselves, particularly given the changes to their side over the back half of the season against a top 5 side. That didn't happen. So they have a week off and then it's today. So it is a big ask and it can be a tough position to come from. I don't know if the week off is always to your advantage, and it probably depends on the dynamics of your team and the players you have within that. But, this side have been fairly consistent in terms of their playing group for a few years now. So they'll be really relying on that, I think, to come in today and just be ready to go from the first whistle.
And probably for Cora Rutherglen as well, the last 2 seasons they've finished on top, minor premiers, and no finals have played out. So to actually be here today in this second semi-final with the opportunity to take the win, have another week off and go straight into that grand final and show people why they have been that premier team for a couple of years is probably big on the agenda.
Absolutely, and I think, tucked away in the back of their minds for some of these players will be that the grand final loss in 2019 to Wangaratta, and when you've been in one and you've lost, it hurts, and I don't think that leaves you. So, I'm sure that they have a very quiet determination on. It'd be interesting to see how they come out today.
And that little bit of home court advantage we did see last week in the elimination final, particularly in that C grade game. The Cora supporters, I think, got their team over the line in those last few minutes. They were loud, they were proud, and the roar just went up every time the C graders got a goal, and their B graders will be facing off in an elimination game tomorrow as well. So credit to the Cora Rutherglen Roos Football and Netball Club. In these 2 teams' previous meetings, the first time that the Yarrawonga Pigeons and the Cora Rutherglen Roos met was in round 6 back on the 15th of May. Cora were taking the win in that first meeting, 56-49. Quarter time scores, 13-14. So Yarrawonga had the upper hand at quarter time. Cora Rutherglen turned that around 16-11, 12-9, and then a 15-all final quarter in that first showing. Grace Senior shot 53 of Cora Rutherglen's 56 goals. That is impressive.
Yeah, I do remember coming to watch that game, and as you said, Yarra led early, and then Cora really put on a good second half performance. But quite a few changes, I guess, from the side to what we'll see today. I think Tilly Kennedy played a quarter or a half that day. There was no Sarah Sanini. Han Symes, I think, came on for a quarter and maybe 5 minutes, So, I don't know how much you can take out of that game.
And Cora Rutherglen, interesting, did not make a change at all in that game, but that was when they had the likes of Liv Sinclair in that wing attack, which we've spoken about over the broadcast over the last few weeks about the change that has bringing Maddie O'Keefe in. So then the second time round was round 15, the 30th of July. Yarrawonga taking a 2-goal win there, 45-43. Again, even first quarter, even last quarter, and it was just a 3-goal advantage in the third quarter to Yarrawonga that got them that win. Yarrawonga in this instance rotated their circle. Bridget Cassar played a half, Sarah Moore 3 quarters, 1 back in goal shooter, 2 in goal attack, and Maddie Allen a half in goal attack and goal shooter. Interestingly, there was no Laura Irvine. I believe that was the week she had COVID. And so Kylie Leslie played half at wing attack, half at centre. And I think that was, until last week, was the last time we saw her in the mid-court. She went back into that turf that we know her in goal defence.
Yeah, and I think Laura Ryan swung into the centre too. And I think that was Annalise Grinter, probably her last game. I think she only played a quarter that game too. So, very different. Corowa, I think were forced to make some changes late in that game with M. Larissy going back to keeper. Obviously, Liv Sinclair was out at that stage. Tony Lind didn't play, and they had to were forced to bring on, I'm assuming forced, Imogen Taylor up from B to have a shoot in there with Grace Senior. So, you know, I think we've talked a lot about Yarrawonga's depth, and probably for Corowa, that's one of their concerns. Their B grade and their C grade are strong and are performing in finals, but because they've been so stable over such a long time, they probably haven't had to play a lot of players up through their A. Having said that, Maddie O'Keefe has done a fantastic job when she's come in, and now that she's in the side. So, you know, they'll be really confident in those players if they need to bring them on.
Absolutely. As we take a look at the Insight Injury Clinic team cards, starting with the minor premiers in the Corowa, the Glenroos, coached by Georgie Bruce. They will start Grace Senior in goal shooter, Chloe Senior in goal attack. A beautiful article in the Border Mail this week about the two of them teaming up again. Wing attack is youngster Maddie O'Keefe, centre Brooke Bice, wing defence Emily Larissy, goal defence Sophie Hanrahan, and Jen Barrett back in goalkeeper, with an interchange bench of Zoe McLeish, Zali Spencer, Imogen Taylor, Lisa Tobin and Ella Kingston. For me, one of the players that probably just goes about their business, doesn't have one of those star names is M. Larissy. She just gets the job done.
For sure, and she's so formidable in that wing defence position because she's so tall and she's got a great reach. Those arms seem to go forever, and so she can make life really tough for the wing defences with her elevation and her height over that ball. They then have the luxury of being able to swing her back to goalkeeper if they need to, and she can play a really good position there. And she played in our interleague side, or our Ovens and Ray rep side at Association Champs, back in the circle, and did a fantastic job. So they do have that up their sleeve, and some of those girls on the bench can come in and fill that wing defence spot really easily.
Absolutely. As we take a look at the Yarrawonga Pigeons, co-coached by Bridget Cassar and Laura Irvine. Goal shooter to begin with will be Bridget Cassar, supported by Sarah Moore, previously Sarah Sanini in goal attack. Wing attack Tilly Kennedy, centre Laura Irvine, wing defence Laura Ryan, goal defence Kylie Leslie, and in goalkeeper Hannah Symes. With an interchange bench of Liv Lovell and Maddie Allen, I expect a couple of B graders as well. Again, there is just, we speak about it every week, the experience of that Yarrawonga starting seven is incredible.
It is, and as you said, we've talked about their depth. I think what we've known from Yarrawonga is that they're going to build. We knew that they were going to have girls come into the side late in the season, and that's happened, and they've had some games to really stabilise and get some A-grade form up, and that's, you know, their timing has really been impeccable. So I think we've seen over the last couple of weeks what this team can do, and if they get out to any sort of lead, I think Coral will be in trouble.
And I think one of the key matchups on court is going to be Grace Senior and Hannah Symes. Hannah seems to have really worked herself into this season after having a baby in the off-season, having a couple of weeks of rounds off to start the season, and just kind of progressively getting back. And we saw her play some against the Lavender, particularly against Christina second half. So I look to see how she tries to play against Grace Senior.
For sure, and I think the other thing that both these sides do really well is their outlet passes and their run out of defence can really damage the other team. So Sophie Hanrahan, if she's given the space to run into, she can carry the ball, 2/3 of the court. And the same can happen for Yarrawonga. If Kylie Leslie is given that space to run, or a Laura Ryan, they can move that ball very quickly. So both goal attacks today, whilst they're there as a shooter, a big part of their role today is going to have to be defensively stopping that goal defence from transitioning the ball when there's a turnover.
If you have just joined us, you are listening to O&M Live Netball thanks to McRae Motors. We are at the second semi-final at the John Ford Oval in Corowa, where we're seeing the minor premiers in Corowa Glen take on second place Yarrawonga Pigeons that earned their right to this game by defeating the Lavington Panthers. Special welcome to you, Tina Way, thanks to Insight Injury Clinic. How are you?
Great, thanks for having me.
It is awesome to have you, and a nice C-grade tussle there to have a little whistle blow for.
Yeah, put on the whites today and umpired the C-grade game, and it was a quality match.
Awesome. Now, Tina, I might take your tip first off because we're not too far off this first whistle. Which way do you think the game's going today?
I think the Yarrawonga Pigeons will take out the win today, and I think it's going to be based on Yarrawonga's defensive four, how much they can shut down Grace Senior and the wing attack in Maddie O'Keefe.
Awesome. And Tamara Matthews, where do you think the game's won and lost, and which way are you going today?
Oh, I think I'm going to go Yarrawonga, probably 4 or 5 goals. I think if they, like I said, I think if they can get on top early, that's going to be hard to pull them back. And I agree with Tina. I think their defensive work right across their court is outstanding, but particularly Laura Ryan, for me, is just been an absolute jet the last couple of games.
As we see the Yarrawonga Pigeons in the hands of co-coach Laura Irvine take the first centre pass of this second semi-final, the winner progressing straight through to the Ovens and Murray Grand Final. Yarrawonga with the ball at the top of the circle in the trusty hands of Sarah Moore, who makes no doubt in nailing her first goal of this semi-final. Centre pass for the Roos taken by Brooke Bice. A little fumble there by Maddie O'Keefe, and it is called a replay. So a little bit of a slippery ball to start. Can't afford some of those simple errors. Grace Senior on that transverse line, really calling to her troops' defensive effort, and well done to Laura Irvine. Clever play there to just tap the ball onto herself, knowing she would be unbalanced. A bounce pass from Moore out to Cassar, and she's left alone on the baseline. Footwork call deemed by the umpire, and the Roos are on the attack again. A contact call from Irvine, an obstruction from Cassar will give goalkeeper Jen Barrett for the Roos a clear pass to Bice, and the Roos now are transitioning that ball.
And you could see how quick Soph Hanrahan took that ball and wanted to run with it. She knows that they can't allow Yarrawonga time to set up any kind of defence through that mid-court.
Absolutely, and a little bit of a fumble there in the hands of Hannah Symes, clutching and ripping in the loose ball. So Grace Senior now out of play. Symes to Leslie, her first touch of this semi-final. Gives off to Symes again, and great defence by the Roos. You can see every Yarrawonga Pigeons player having to take a second movement to get to that ball, and really Hannah Symes holding on to it, waiting until a player was coming at her, and Tilly Kennedy coming at Kylie Leslie. A great forward drive for her, and a ball. Sarah Moore just flirting with the baseline. A clever pass.
Twinkle toes. I think I've caught her that more than once before.
The ball on the line is in netball, so everyone paused in the crowd. But yeah, it was taken shot nicely.
A little bit of
Sarah.
a deep breath, and Yarrawonga Pigeons take a 2-0 lead here on the 777 automotive scoreboard. Sanini previously. Now Moore gives off to Irvine, out to Tilly Kennedy. Brooke Bice doing her best to get her big 3 feet there, and clever work from Sanini just to balance backwards so that the pass wasn't short. Pass over the hands of 2 defenders into Cassar, and her second goal of the Yarrawonga Pigeons 3-goal lead here to 0.
And Tina, I'm interested to hear, what do Corowa do defensively on Sarah Sanini and Bridget Cassar? Because I think there's always going to be that temptation to try and double team, but you just can't afford to leave one out, can you?
It's so difficult to play against. Bridget Cassar is just amazing backing goal shooter, and it's going to have to be one-on-one work and hope for some tips outside the circle, because they have set play after set play, the Yarrawonga Pigeons, and it's hard to break.
As special comments being brought to you by Tina Way, coach of the Myrtleford Alpine Saints. We just saw the longest bomb there by Grace Senior to bring the Corowa Glen Roos their first goal. So that is something that the Pigeons will have to be mindful of, and a heavy contact.
And did you see the tip by Matthews out on the sideline?
She's got a stat as Sarah Moore misses just from that halfway mark, and clever from Cassar to reset to the transverse line. Laura Ryan in wing defence for the Pigeons, always there at the ready. And Cassar, uncharacteristic miss from her under the ring. She's been great in these last few rounds of the season. And we've got the umpire bringing the penalty back to be set properly. Em Larissy with her first touch of this game. Barrett to Larissy to Hanrahan. They're down towards their attacking third, and here they come, and an already 3D lanes highlight of the day for Hannah Symes. Saw Chloe Senior standing still, and Symes just attacked the ball.
And good to see her doing that early. But sometimes she takes a quarter or two to warm into that, but she's backing herself on a wet court early. So Corowa are going to have to be very mindful of that.
As you can see, the defenders for the Pigeons, Kylie Leslie just hedging the space in front of Grace Senior a little bit. Hannah Symes holding the other side. Leslie keeping an eye on Chloe Senior to make sure she picks her up as she enters the circle. And Brooke Bice has given away an obstruction call in the middle of the court. So the Pigeons working the ball down, a high ball into Moore. Not quite enough on it. Jen Barrett for the Roos with a touch there. Ball going over the baseline. Sarah Moore with the balk, trying to get the defenders out of the way, and an offside call. So a pass for the Pigeons across court, across the circle to Irvine. balks again, and an obstruction call going the way of the Roos. Bridget Cassar deemed to be obstructing goalkeeper in Jen Barrett from getting back into the circle. So Cassar want to be careful with how she approaches that because they won't want to turn over too much ball in that circle.
And Corowa attacks, so they've got it down in their goal third, just trying to find circle edge. Grace Senior feeds it back to the transverse line to M. Larissy, who finds Bice. Maddie O'Keefe has it deep in the pocket. She's able to swing it into Chloe, and she draws the penalty, so she's going to have a shot. Is she going to look to try and pass to Grace? No, she puts it up, so she puts Corowa on the scoreboard. They go to 2 goals, trailing Yarrawonga 3 on the 777 automotive scoreboard.
And a Cora Rutherglen centre to follow, and Maddie O'Keefe then just really losing her footing. That bit of rain about 40 minutes ago has really made this court slippery. They've done their best to get rid of the water with the sweepers as much as they could. And brilliant footwork from Cassar, a double dodge there to lose Barrett. And Barrett is out of play for an obstruction call as Cassar puts up another shot for Yarrawonga. 4 goals to 2 here on the 777 automotive scoreboard. Irvine with the centre pass, a direct pass to Tilly Kennedy, hitting the top of the circle. The damage that Tilly Kennedy can do in that wing attack role when she just drives like that, and particularly on a wet court.
And that M. Larris is probably going to have to almost cut off that drive to the top, allow Tilly to get that early pass and then stop her, because I think that's where she's going to be more damaging, is hands over off the circle.
And talking about hands over pressure, a 3D lanes highlight of the day to Laura Irvine. We spoke last week about how she just really sets that 3-foot distance and she can time the pass going out of the attacker's hand, as she did to Brooke Bice, who tried to rectify her error and got a tip, but it wasn't enough. The Pigeons now on the attack. Ryan to Kennedy, centering ball too much there and goes over the far sideline. So Jen Barrett for the Roos will line up here for this throw-in about halfway in the Roos defensive third. Gives off to Hanrahan, to Bice, another centering ball to O'Keefe. All the Pigeons have the Roos girls standing still and force a held ball. Ryan in wing defence gives off to Moore. The great double play there used as a balk, and Jen Barrett not giving Cassar an inch of space, and Cassar trying to put a microphone on mid-first quarter.
Should have got a comment.
An extra special comment, but Jen Barrett here for the Roos, deep in this defensive corner. Give off, and Kylie Leslie standing still.
Cernini is home alone, but they were too slow to see her and offload her, so they've had to reset to the transverse. Irvine to Ryan, it's back to Irvine. She goes to feed Cassar, but Hanrahan gets a tip to it. It's going to be a Yarrawonga Pigeons throw-in on the baseline, which Sarah Moore will take.
And Tina Way, thanks to Insight Injury Clinic, what so far stood out to you?
Well, the adrenaline is definitely pumping for all 14 girls. The ball has gone end to end for not many goals so far into this quarter, but the mid-quarter running through the middle and creating play, but I think the ball needs to be released a little bit earlier for them to then flow into the attack line.
And interesting to know if that's a bit of the wet weather ploy, just trying to hold it up, but we know how crucial both teams can be on speed. And Grace Senior, as we talk, off balanced and gives what looked like maybe a shot, but we'll call it a pass off to sister Chloe Senior, who makes good. So the Cora Rutherglen Roos are now on 3, trailing the Yarrawonga Pigeons 5 on the 777 automotive scoreboard. We have 6.5 minutes here to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. This first quarter, like last week, has just flown. Cassar with the shot for the Pigeons and makes good. So Cora Rutherglen Roos with the centre pass to come in the hands of Brooke Bice. Gives off to Chloe Senior. You can see Kylie Leslie doing that hard work in that goal defence position, really hedging the space back, and the high ball's gone into Grace Senior. Hansimes falling off balance there, and Grace Senior netting her second goal of this first quarter. And a contact call in the middle of that centre third leaves Sarah Moore without a player in their attacking third. Sophie Hanrahan coming through now, and Jen Barrett picking up Sarah Moore. Sophie Hanrahan picking up Bridget Cassar, and the little bit of a dummy play there from the Pigeons allows the ball to come in. A great shot by Sarah Moore, but it rings out. So the Roos now on the attack. Every Pigeons player getting a player and putting their hands up as soon as their player has the ball. Hanrahan through the middle to Brooke Bice in centre.
And this is where Yarrawonga holding it up. They're almost allowing Corowa to get it to the centre circle, and then the pressure's on, and they just can't force it over that transverse line.
Yeah, they're setting a press through the middle of that transverse and really holding up Corowa from getting it down to Grace.
And another held ball there, something they've been practicing at training. We saw it against the Wangaratta Magpies a couple of weeks ago, and you touched on it as well, Tina, in that pre-game, just how dominant those 4 defenders can really be as a unit. Jen Barrett for the Roos on the baseline with the throwing, gives off to Soph Hanrahan, and an obstruction call from Irvine slows up the play for the Roos on to Bice. She's got arms over pressure and gives off a ball to Hanrahan. Senior, they're very tight on that side channel, and a contact call there coming off the ball. So Pigeons now on the attack, happy to slow it down a little bit, and Kennedy just having to do a couple of dodges to get away from the hands of M. Larissy, hitting circle edge to feed. A tip from Hanrahan. Clever balks the ball again, and Hanrahan's arms in the way again, but the low ball onto Casa, opts for the refeed to Kennedy, and now she's taking that shot at short, but Sarah Moore underneath it for the two-handed rebound and her 3rd goal of this game. So the Pigeons now out to a 3-goal lead, 7-4 on the 777 automotive scoreboard. Less than 5 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
As Corowa try and take it forward, but Leslie gets a tip. It's not enough to keep it in, so Maddie O'Keefe for Corowa has the ball. She finds Chloe Senior coming out, who finds Grace in the front position, which is where she needs to be against Hannah. She puts it up and moves Corowa to 5 goals, trailing Yarrawonga 7, as Laura Irvine takes centre pass for Yarrawonga. She finds Tilly Kennedy out wide. Tilly can give and go here to Sarah Moore,
who opts for the cross circle pass, and Sarah Moore did her classic slash arm move to get across the transverse line to take that centre pass. Oh, slippery ball. Irvine able to gather control, and a cross circle pass again. Time called by the umpire, Jared Hibberson, and time is resumed. I'm not 100% sure what that was for, but there's an obstruction call now outside the circle. Tilly Kennedy quick to play that penalty, and Sarah Moore with a long bomb from her. So
and I think just giving the players a bit of a warning, no one officially, but about going offside, asking him to rein it in there.
And nice to have that warning early all across. So the Pigeons with the 3-goal lead here, 8-5 on the 777 automotive scoreboard. Tina Way, would you be making any changes if you were the coach to either team?
No, at this stage I wouldn't make any changes. They're just starting to settle in, and it'll be interesting how they take on the second quarter. It'll be interesting too if they start double teaming Grace Senior out the back, and then putting some pressure on Chloe Senior at the front.
Special comments today being brought to you by the Insight Injury Clinic and Tina Way, as we see Sarah Moore, a 3-quarter distance shot from her for the Pigeons with their centre pass to come, and a great offload from Irvine.
Not so great.
Not so great. The second one from Kennedy to Irvine, but Irvine, she's not happy with herself there. And Barrett now with the pass to come, and Irvine nearly with the steal, but Hanrahan just that height to take the ball. 3 passes and the Roos are in their circle. Hannah Symes with a great 3-foot over the shot of Grace Senior, and that is the damage she can do at the other end when she's on. The Roos with the centre pass to come. O'Keefe gives off to Chloe Senior, and Bice, great drive in front of wing defence Laura Ryan, straight to the top of the circle. Ryan pulling in the scraps of a loose ball on the attack, and 3 passes, 3 plays she's been involved in, 4 bringing that ball down the court. She's been instrumental to the Yarrawonga Pigeons' success so far this season.
She absolutely has. Her strength on the drive and her ability to shut down the wing attacks in the last couple of games has just really set up their win.
The pressure in this circle, Hanrahan and Casa, there is absolutely not an inch between them, and Bridget Casa sinking a goal there for the Pigeons. So they are out to 10-6 on the 777 automotive scoreboard. 1.5 minutes to play here on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. The Pigeons with the ball and the control of this game at this point. Irvine, great clever play from her to not go off court there with the pass into Moore, and a hand from Barrett tips and the ball goes in, and an obstruction call on the baseline. Jen Barrett clapping her hands together out of disappointment of herself giving away a penalty for more so
smart,
close to the
very
circle.
Very smart play by Sarah.
Yeah, she sucked her into that,
She sucked her in and knew she'd get the ball on court to take the shot.
And Bice with the centre pass. O'Keefe having to come up quite high in wing attack. She's not used. Chloe Senior in goal attack gives back to Larissy, and the Roos having to really reset this attacking play. O'Keefe, she's off circle edge, so she won't want to feed, and she doesn't. She cross-court circling ball.
Hannah Symes, 3D lane highlight of the day, comes through, picks off the ball, and Yarrawonga all of a sudden have it at the top of their goal circle with 2 passes. Tilly Kennedy goes for Casa, but Barrett gets a tip to it. Unfortunately, couldn't chase it down and is able to flick it back in, but it goes to Yarrawonga, who finds Sarah Moore under the post, and she puts them on the board. So they'll move out to 12 goals, leading Cora Rutherglen 6 goals here on the 777 automotive scoreboard. With not long left to play in this quarter, and Yarrawonga again 2 passes and it's under their ring, and Bridget Casa scores another quick goal for Yarrawonga.
And that is one of those coach killers if they don't come off, but Sarah Moore makes good of it. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons here with a pretty impressive lead for this first quarter. 13 goals to 6 on the 777 automotive scoreboard. That is the first quarter action. We will be back in a moment with more of this semi-final.
O&M Live subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport? And one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
GoTafe is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
inspiring,
hands-on,
flexible, fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
Pain or injury can stop you from living life to the fullest. Albury-Wodonga Private Hospital specialises in advanced orthopaedic services and offers a full range of care from diagnosis to surgery and rehabilitation. Get back to the life you love with our support.
.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero.
At 2AY, we're your home of news, talk, sport and music.
We're community focused, passionate about our region and what makes it great.
We bring you the very latest news that matters, from breaking stories in your backyard to headlines and hot topics from around the country and around the world.
And on weekends, we live and breathe local sport and bring you exclusive live coverage.
1494 2AY. We're your local.
It's alive.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball. We are broadcasting to you this second semi-final from the John Ford Oval. I am Ree Dolahenty, joined today in commentary by Tamara Matthews and Tina Way of the Myrtleford Alpine Saints in on special comments. We are waiting for this second quarter action to commence. We can see the Pigeons have a comprehensive lead here going into this second quarter, 13 goals to 6. Roos, though, with the centre pass, and Hannah Symes, a 3D lanes highlight of the day to start, but a footwork call couldn't quite balance up Brooke Bice from the Roos in centre. And we have a couple of changes in the Roos attack end. Grace Senior has gone out to goal attack. Chloe Senior has dropped back to goal shooter. A pass from sister to sister deemed a footwork call, and we have Ella Kingston has come onto the court at wing attack. Tina Way, I'm interested, do you think the change with Ella Kingston is to provide a little bit of height in that wing attack role?
Well, it's going to have to. Laura Ryan's elevation over the ball and on her player is wonderful, and I think that there was a lack of connection into the goal circle, so they had to make a change. And then, of course, they've swapped Grace and Chloe Senior over, so let's see if that can make an impact to the scoreboard.
As the Roos on the attack again, and a great outlet ball, all confidence in the height of Hanrahan to get her hands to that. Ryan out of play. Kingston gives off to Bice. Symes not giving either of the goal shooters for the Roos an inch, and Grace Senior coming out of the court, and a hand of Symes tips the ball going over the court, and Leslie trying to do the same over the ball of Chloe Senior, and she takes a shot and nails it for her first of this quarter. So the Roos notching the first goal of this second quarter, 13 goals to 7 on the Cavalier home scoreboard.
And that might be the play that they were looking for. Kingston managed to get a tip over that ball that was going to Laura Ryan, kept it in court, and Corowa now with the chance to turn it back. So Bice, beautiful pass, finds Grace Senior under the post, and she makes no mistake. So Corowa with the first couple of goals of the quarter, they're trailing 8 goals to 13 here on the Cavalier home scoreboard in the second quarter.
And the long ball from Kingston, the call from Grace Senior to go cross court. The Pigeons won't let that happen again. The bounce pass from Bice to Senior. She's just so seamless as she turns and fires in another goal. So the Roos with the first 3 goals, and you can hear the home crowd just starting to really lift the Coral Rutherglen Roos.
And Tilly Kennedy with a beautiful double play there onto the circle to Bridget Casa, but Yarrawonga will have the ball with a penalty pass or shot inside the circle. Sarah Moore to take it. She steps in, doesn't sink it, but is able to rebound and draw a penalty. Contact call on Jem Barrett, so she'll get a second shot at it. This time she makes no mistakes, so she puts Yarrawonga out to 14 goals, leading Corowa 9 on the Cavalier home scoreboard as Corowa centre.
The fading defence there from Laura Ryan. She opted to take Brooke Bice as she drove across the circle and just faded back into that space to really shut down that option. And it's taken the Roos now another 3 passes to work to their circle. They haven't made good. And I don't think that's a highlight of the day, but quite a funny pass there from Brooke Bice. Tips the ball straight into the face of Soph Hanrahan. It'll be good to see a replay of that one. Chloe Senior making light work, though, of that little tip there. So the Roos really marching a strong comeback here early in this second quarter. We've played nearly 4 minutes on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, and the Pigeons 2 passes into the circle. Cassar with the shot, and it reefs out, not able to get the rebound, and the Roos now looking to attack, but a silly little contact call on the top of the circle there. That is a little bit of a coach killer, particularly the defenders have done the hard work to get that rebound. More, though, misses the shot, and clever from Cassar there. We commented off air just how well Bridget Cassar is moving in this second half of this season.
She is, and tip out there. They force it out to Kennedy, who finds Sanini down low, and they score another goal. But it's Corowa centre as Kingston off the line. She finds Bice, and she outlets a big ball to Chloe Senior, who's back in shooter. And Corowa score another one. So they're hanging in there so far as Yarrawonga take the ball into their goal third. Laura Irvine, she has to go back to Leslie in the centre third. They're struggling to break through Corowa's defence here. This is probably the first time Corowa have really been able to hold up Yarrawonga on the attack.
7 passes so far, did not even get past the transverse line.
And I commented on the radio with Robbie and Gus this morning that Grace Senior is a brilliant defender. So I think that may be a mark of brilliance from Bruce opting to make that change early, because she can pick off those intercepts in that centre third to transition back again.
And 14 passes for Yarrawonga to score that goal, but the level-headedness of those players ensured that the patience paid off.
And Ryan doing her best there to keep Ella Kingston from the centre pass. She's gotten every centre pass so far in this second quarter for the Roos, and she's coming through with the drive again. Big arms from Irvine. Senior coming out at the top of the circle. Balks once, tries to get Leslie out of the way, doesn't get it, and Leslie goes for the ball, but a footwork call. Just that little bit of a slippery court, just causing a few little footwork errors to come in. Chloe Senior with the balk as well, and the roll. Both senior girls, they do that roll so effortlessly. Hannah Symes with a little touch on the shot of Chloe Senior, but it is good. So the Roos now getting up to 12, still trailing by 4. The Pigeons on 16 on the Cavalier home scoreboard. Great defence from the Roos there to cause the turnover. They are in the attack now, and Barrett falling in, but able to give the ball off to Bice, and a quick transition there from her. Symes.
She came hunting again.
Yeah, she thought about it 1 split second too long.
Yes.
And a hard contact there from Irvine, trying to cut off Bice as she stepped into the ball. We've got Kylie Leslie out of play here, and the penalty's been advanced, and Grace Senior missing the shot, but it won't call as a stat because there's an obstruction call on the land from Symes. So Grace Senior undefended, has her 7th straight goal of this game, bringing the Roos up to 13, trailing the Pigeons 16. I can't see the
13-16
Yarrawonga's
way. As Sophie Hanrahan takes the ball for Corowa on the transverse, she finds Kingston, who goes over the top to Grace Senior, and she's going to turn and have a shot at this and gets the penalty. Oh, no, the umpire called shot taken. She was able to rebound it, though, and put it away the second time round. So they move to 14 goals as Laura Irvine takes the centre pass for Yarrawonga. She finds Sanini off the line, but it's a held ball called.
Held ball call is definitely holding up Yarrawonga's drive and attack. Bridget Cass's got a bit stationary on Jen Barrett, and I don't know if that was instructions, but it's changed the flow and pace down there.
And Laura Irvine with an 3D lanes highlight of the day there, a two-handed intercept off the ball. Kennedy and Larissy. Kennedy's really been kept quiet so far in this second quarter. Just Larissy, you can see she's not standing still at all. She's really having to make Tilly Kennedy move and set up and really drive. So we see her go for that ball. Two-handed strong take by Kennedy. Casa hits the deck on the baseline, but is up again. More refeeds to Irvine. Turns, shoots, and is on her 11th goal of this game. The Pigeons out to 17 here, leading the minor premiers in the Roos on 14. We've got about 7.5 minutes here to play on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock. Grace Senior left out of the circle on her own. Leslie trying to hedge the space, but a little bit too late. Puts pressure over the shot and takes the rebound there. Tina Way, what do you think of these changes from the Roos so far in this first half of this second quarter?
Well, they've definitely paid off because momentum has absolutely swung Cora Glen's way this quarter. They're at the moment got to press through the middle of the court, so it's pushing Yarrawonga wide and deep, and they can't penetrate through. So essentially it is working for Georgie Bruce, and they've decreased the lead.
And that is the experience of Sarah Sanini. Sarah Moore, she drove one way, but she had her hand out pointing in the direction that she wanted the ball and got it. But the shot didn't quite get there, and a contact call from Cassar at the top of the circle. The Roos now with the opportunity to attack and bring this ball down and edge 1 goal closer. Ellie Kingston in wing attack has been great since she came on. Hannah Symes, a 3D lanes highlight of the day. She read that from the other end and nearly managed to take Laura Irvine out in the process, which I'm sure isn't the first time coming out for that flying intercept. And as you said, Tam, it's great to see Hannah Symes on the fly so early in this game.
She does it so well and so cleanly too, and she's such a danger when she does that. And she's got her eye in early, which is not good news for Corowa. And Yarrawonga are able to score another goal, so they move out to 18 goals, leading Corowa 14 on the Cavalier home scoreboard as Yarrawonga attack again. Irvine with the ball on the circle finds Casa popping out on the baseline. She looks at the post but swings it out to Tilly Kennedy, who finds Sarah Moore with a double play. She's right under the post. She makes no mistake about it. So Yarrawonga extend the lead. They go to 19 goals as Corowa take the centre pass through Brooke Bice.
Interestingly enough, a stat just pointed out to me is that Bridget Cassar has only had one shot on goal so far in this second quarter. So
yeah, yet to score after she had such a blinding first quarter. So defensive change up down there, or, Sarah Moore has really injected herself into the game.
And Senior with a miss right under the post, uncharacteristic from her, but she makes good of it. So the Roos now bring up 15 on the scoreboard to the Pigeons, 19 on the Cavalier Home scoreboard. The ball, high ball into Cassar, and she uses the ball to balance and dribbles it back, but it goes over the far sideline. So Jen Barrett, about 2/3 of the way up their defensive sideline, opts for a cross-court ball to Bice to Larissy. They're in this channel closest to where we're broadcasting from today. A high ball over to Hanrahan, and Leslie just the right place at the right time, and probably not the delivery of the ball that the Roos wanted there.
No, and you dangerous territory trying to go over Kylie Leslie too when she's on the run. So Yarrawonga take it to their goal third. Moore with the ball out to Laura Irvine, who gets it back into Sarah Moore, and she's under the post and makes no mistake. So Yarrawonga moved to 20, leading Corowa 15 goals. It's a Corowa centre as Brooke Bice looking for someone off the line, finds Grace Senior. She comes out to Chloe Senior, who's out of the circle. They have to reset back to Brooke Bice. Her and Ella Kingston having to do a lot of work before Grace Senior finds Chloe under the post. She has a shot, takes Corowa to 16 goals on the Cavalier Home scoreboard.
And Tina, you mentioned earlier just if that double team happens to Grace, that Chloe's left on her own, and we saw it instrumental there. She had all the space and the timing in the world.
It is. It's so difficult playing against Grace Senior. You know that she's such a wonderful shooter, and you're drawn to cover her, and then and in that instance she was up high, and Chloe was down on the post.
The other thing I like about Grace in goal attack is that it takes away, she's so strong on the hold and going back, and she can't do it against these Yarrawonga defenders, and by putting her into goal attack, you're almost forcing her to sweep in front and play that front position, to which she does so well as well. But I think it just changes up the way she plays, and she can be so dangerous in either position.
And putting the ball through is Senior, and Symes there not giving Chloe Senior an inch, tapping the ball back to herself, and the Pigeons 3 passes. They're in their attacking third. Cassar passing across to co-shooter in Moore. Tilly Kennedy, ball up high and sends it over to Moore, but just a little bit too much into it. You can see the players apologising and recognising that probably wasn't the best option there. Hanrahan coming through the middle of the court. Barrett double plays with Hanrahan again, and Larissy on that transverse line. Big ball to Kingston, who is unbalanced and offside. So I feel like the momentum shift here has just gone in the Pigeons' way in the last couple of minutes, but the Roos putting the pressure on. They've got all Pigeons players on the channel of the court closest to us, but Laura Ryan, clever pass from her.
I think a few players thought that was a contact.
And you can hear the crowd.
Yes, Sanini caught the ball at the start, took the hit from Jen Barrett, was off balance. The umpire called a step rather than a contact. So Corowa have moved it very quickly to the other end, and Grace Senior has put them on the scoreboard with another goal. They moved 17 goals to 21, and it just goes to show you just cannot wait for any calls in this game. The umpires are going to make you earn every single pass.
And the look on Grace Senior's face, she was looking directly in our line of sight, and she just turned, shot, and knew that ball was going through. There wasn't even a second thought about it. Irvine over the top to Cassar. Is this her first goal of this third quarter? It is. We've got just 2 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. The Pigeons here with the 5-goal advantage, 22, leading the Roos 17. Chloe Senior with the ball outside of the court, having to go across court, and a clever high ball there from Bice, knowing that Symes would come through in the back space of Senior, giving away the contact. Senior taking her 11th shot of this game, 11th goal, I should say. Irvine with the centre gives off to Moore. High, clever pass to Bridget Cassar. Just gave herself all the space and all the time behind her there.
Beautiful play between Sarah and Bridget on that centre pass then.
And the experience of those two, we commented in these dying seconds of the first quarter, just being able to play the ball and really move the defenders out of the way. Irvine with the hands over pressure of Kingston gives off to sister Chloe. Grace Senior is double timed, but comes up with the penalty pass or shot of contact from Leslie, the strength of Senior between two defenders, and takes another goal there late in this second quarter. So the Roos now trailing by 5, 23 plays 18 on the Cavalier home scoreboard. Less than a minute to play, and the Pigeons dribbling the ball over the baseline.
Tapped it back into Sarah Moore, and I think actually Corowa player got between them and might have knocked that out, but the umpires called a Corowa throw in. So M. Larissy with the ball on the sideline tries to give it off and can't, but it's a Corowa throw in. No, they've called an obstruction or a contact call. So Jem Barrett just waiting for the ball to come back. She'll take it and midway through their defensive third on the sideline. She finds M. Larissy to centre it, and they move through the centre of the court. This is better by Corowa. Brooke Bice has to swing it wide to find Grace, who's off balance. She lobs it in. And
3D lanes highlight of the day. I was just about to say that there were no goalers in the Colorado Glen Rouge circle there. And a pinpoint accurate pass from the Pigeons goal attack more to Cassar. They knew that there wasn't a lot of time left, but a footwork call. Bit of a contact perhaps on the way out there, and the Roos look to do the same thing, but Hannah Symes, she has been brilliant for the Pigeons in this first half. So the Pigeons with the 4-goal lead, 23-19 as we go into halftime. This is O&M Live Netball brought to you by McRae Motors. We will be back from the John Ford Oval for the second half action.
How many subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport? And one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
GoTafe is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
inspiring,
hands-on,
flexible, fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
Pain or injury can stop you from living life to the fullest. Albury-Wodonga Private Hospital specialises in advanced orthopaedic services and offers a full range of care from diagnosis to surgery and rehabilitation. Get back to the life you love with our support.
.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton 0.
At 2AY, we're your home of news, talk, sport and music.
We're community focused, passionate about our region and what makes it great.
We bring you the very latest news that matters, from breaking stories in your backyard to headlines and hot topics from around the country and around the world.
And on weekends, we live and breathe local sport and bring you exclusive live coverage.
1494 2AY. We're your local.
OMFNL Live on 2AY.
O&M Live Netball proudly brought to you by McRae Motors. If you are joining us, we are broadcasting to you from the John Ford Oval, the second semi-final of the Ovens and Murray Football League and Netball League, final series. The winner of today's game gets their spot into the grand final. Yarrawonga Pigeons currently with the 4-goal advantage over the home team, the Coral Rutherglen Roos, 23-19. I'm Reid Dolahenty, joined in commentary today by Tamara Matthews, and on special comments, Tina Way. The two just noting down some of the changes here for the Roos. I think it'll be interesting. The Pigeons with the lead. Tamara Matthews, how have you seen the first half?
Look, I think Yarrawonga jumped out the blocks and really Corowa struggled to attack and find their goal circle early, and we just saw that defensive pressure we know that Yarrawonga is so good at. But that second quarter, to Corowa's credit, that change in wing attack made a big difference. They were able to find a lot more space, and the delivery to Grace Senior and Chloe was a lot cleaner. They weren't having to work as hard in and around that circle, so conserving some energy. But they've made some changes here. They've brought Zoe McLeish into goal shooter. Grace Senior can stay out at goal attack. They've brought Zali Spencer has come into the wing defence role, and Emma Larissy has gone across to goal defence, with Sophie Hanrahan dropping back to goalkeeper. So they've swung quite a few changes for Yarrawonga. They've moved Sarah Sanini, or Moore, as we sometimes know her, back to goal shooter, and Maddie Allen's come into goal attack for them. So this has been a change that they have used quite regularly in the second half of the season. It's worked quite well for them. Provides a bit more height and just a different type of player to Sanini and Bridget Casa. So it would be interesting to see how this works. But Yarrawonga with an early turnover. Hannah Symes deep in the pocket with a sideline throwing. They find Laura Ryan through the middle of the court to Tilly Kennedy. She's driving with intent to the top of the circle and takes a great pass. Goes to go to Moore, but Sophie Hanrahan comes over the top, and unfortunately you can't do that. So Sarah Moore has a penalty shot. She steps in and takes it and puts a beautiful shot up. So Yarrawonga will go to 24 goals, leading Corowa here on the Martin's Travel Group Albury scoreboard.
And Sarah Moore, a great settling goal there for the Pigeons. A great transitional play. Laura Ryan, she's just phenomenal bringing that ball down the court. Spencer and Kennedy running side by side, and Kennedy just getting in the road there of the pass, so it wasn't as crisp as the Roos would have liked, and the Pigeons now back in control. But Laura Irvine, an uncharacteristic cross-court pass there, goes over the far sideline. Sophie Hanrahan in goalkeeper for the Roos, about halfway off, gives off to Larissy, to Spencer, and Irvine coming through, trying to break the space between the ball and Bice. Not to be in a footwork call from Larissy right in the middle of that centre third, gets the Roos on the defence, and Spencer Nilly coming through with a 3D lanes highlight of the day. Kennedy with the throw in to Allen just at the top of the circle, gives off to Irvine. Allen holding strong, drifting into that back space, asking for the ball, putting up her first goal and sinking it in that goal attack role. So a nice settler for Allen as she takes part in this game. Yarrawonga leading 25 goals to 19 on the Martin's Travel Group Albury scoreboard.
And it's interesting, Zoe McLeish prior to last week had played just the 6 rounds for Corowa, so she just qualified, played B grade for them last week in the finals, and this week's coming into the A grade. She's been playing down in the VNL in Melbourne, so she's certainly got some experience this year, but we see Yarrawonga put another one on the scoreboard through Sarah Moore as they move to 26 goals, and it's a Yarrawonga centre.
We've seen the experience of Moore when she goes back into that goal shooter role, as she does in goal attack, but she really talks to the players and tells them where to go. You can hear her, and you will probably pick up a little bit of it on the ambience mic as she talks to Maddie Allen and tells her where the space is and where to run and where to move. So great leadership on court by Sarah Moore, and another goal from then. So they go out to an 8-goal advantage here, 27-19 on the Martin's Travel Group Albury, as a long bomb goes into Zoe McLeish, but the hands of Hannah Symes just too good. Tina Way, the first few minutes of this have been just as intense as the first half.
It really is, and I think that Corowa is, a bit frantic with all the changes that they're doing, that the ball is moving so quickly. Tilly Kennedy is having a bit of a field day out there at the start of this quarter and has picked 2-3 passes onto the circle edge, so she might enjoy a bit more freedom without having Em Larissy on her.
And as we speak about Emma Larris, she's got hands over the ball of Maddie Allen's across court pass there from
Kylie
Laura.
Leslie standing there waving to whoever will look at her.
Laura Irvine looked like she had to use every inch of her body to get the ball over there. Just an awkward footing. I think Allen with the refeed to Irvine, both defenders going for that ball, but not to be. And Hanrahan, beautiful read from her, the damage she can do, and the Pigeons can't afford to really pass off with her hands there if she's going to hold that position nice and strong. Grace Senior coming through at the top of the circle. High ball into McLeish, but just the timing isn't quite there.
And this is going to be a big ask for Zoe McLeish coming up against Hannah Symes, who has just ripped this game apart so far. Zoe, like I said, limited experience in A grade so far this season. So, she's certainly going to have to use everything she's got today to get over Hannah Symes.
Absolutely, and Grace Senior is really going to have to support that frontline attack now as the most senior player down there with the most experience.
We talk about experience. Sarah Moore there cutting through both Ruse defenders and needing to put the shot up but misses, and she's actually missing her back patch, her back bib. So interesting. We talk about Hannah Symes and the field day she's having, and she just comes around the body there of McLeish to get a ball, and Bice bombs the ball in. Neither players were expecting it. Symes a little bit late giving a contact call. So Grace Senior in her bread and butter position makes no doubt, notching her 13th goal of the Ruse 20. The Pigeons, though, with the 7-goal advantage here with the centre pass coming their way. Allen gives off to Irvine, and a clever ball there over the body and hands of Hanrahan to Moore, falling backwards, notching another goal for the Pigeons. They are out by 8, and already we've played 5 minutes of this third quarter.
And you can just see that, again, we talk about experience of Sarah Moore on a Hanrahan. Not many people can do that dodge and drop on Sophie Hanrahan and find that much space, but she's done that the last 2 times it's ended their goal third or goal circle. And so I expect that Sophie's going to change up the way she's starting to play now. As the Ruse find Grace Senior, she's under the post and puts it up for them. So they go to 21. They're trailing Yarrawonga 28 in the Mountains Travel Group Albury scoreboard as Yarrawonga take the centre pass. Tilly Kennedy on the line. She has to reset back to Irvine, who swings it to Kylie Leslie. Maddie Allen comes out and finds Tilly Kennedy on the circle. And a nice double play there from Maddie Allen. She now has the ball again after being delivered by Kennedy. Takes the shot. It's off. And Hanrahan's under that. She can't pull it in and knocks it out. So Yarrawonga with the throw-in on the baseline. Sarah Sanini will take the ball for the Pigeons.
Yeah, lots of talking going on in that defensive circle while that ball was getting retrieved. Hanrahan just giving Larissy a little nudge saying, you've got this, stay on your toes, keep underneath it, but more with the shot. And it reached out. She won't be happy with that one, but Allen taking 2 hands on it and
having an absolutely wonderful game, Sarah Moore, and yeah, she'll rectify that on the next shot, I think.
Interestingly, Tilly Kennedy on that attacking player, and as I speak, takes a beautiful 3D lanes highlight of the day. She's really just driving so beautifully. I think Emily Larissy did a great job in that first half to keep her quiet. Zali Spencer is trying everything, but Kennedy's really timed her drive to the top of that circle.
And the Corowa defenders just look a bit confused. They don't know what to do here. They don't know whether to go one-on-one or whether to start to try and take Sanini. She's really dominating and directing the play on there, but Maddie Allen can be just so damaging as well. She quietly goes about her business, and they almost look like they don't quite know what to do at this stage.
Pigeons happy to play back on this centre pass, not to go forward, and Ryan, as she always does, just working. And again, just the smarts of Sarah Moore. She had 2 defenders in front of her and Maddie Allen, and still pinpoint accuracy of the pass to Allen, and she makes good. She's 4 straight coming on in this third quarter. The Pigeons out to a 10-goal lead, 31 plays 21 here on the Martins Travel Group Albury. Nearly halfway through this third quarter. Can the Coral Rutherglen Roos notch up a couple of quick goals to bring this deficit down? Zoe McLeish just fumbles the ball and picks up the scraps, and Kylie Leslie, too strong. Wing attack, Ella Kingston standing still, and Leslie just telegraphed that ball beautifully. 2 passes from Ryan to Kennedy. Over the top of Hanrahan with her eyes down again, and Moore sinking that one. So the Pigeons 11 goals, 32 plays 21, and interesting, a timeout call here from the Roos right on cue as an injury time sees Chloe Senior take the court. In goal shooter Zoe McLeish coming to the bench. The Pigeons restarting us with this centre pass. Leslie, heavy defence there from Grace Senior on Kylie Leslie, and Kingston making it hard for Irvine to get the ball, and a contact call there. Irvine being turned around in circles. High ball into Allen, just using her toes and clever, nice bit of height there. Her and Hanrahan match up well for height. And the ball, the shot's short. Larissy, clever tip from her to come up with the possession. So Hanrahan and the Roos on the attack. Irvine attempts the deflect, but a contact call instead. So Hanrahan in the Roos defensive third on their transverse line. Gives off to Spencer, to Kingston. Ryan fading defence again, and the hands of Hannah Symes. She's just really got her timing on, and the Roos just really don't know where to put the ball if she's going to come out for those balls.
No, as Symes takes it off the baseline, all of a sudden they're through the mid-court through Laura Ryan. She has it on the transverse. She finds Tilly Kennedy out wide in their attacking third. She double plays it to Allen to the circle. Lucky that wasn't a short pass, but they have it in the pocket. Kennedy swings it way over to Irvine. She gives it off to Maddie Allen, who's come forward as the defenders to take to Sanini. Leaves Maddie Allen by herself. She swings it to Irvine. She gets a penalty. She goes wide to Kennedy. They're just using their circle on their feeders. But Zali Spencer comes through on that pass, and a great intercept from her. 2 hands, so she's rewarded with the pass as Corriva try and attack.
Zali Spencer is making it really hard for Laura Irvine, and Bice and Irvine too, just really going at it in the centre third, and Jared Hibbertson calling Laura Irvine for the contact. I'd like to see Laura perhaps just stop and prop. She's getting caught up in a bit of that drive through there, and could stop and prop, but credit to the Roos girls making Irvine work really hard. Tina Way for Insight Injury Clinic. The drive of Laura Irvine and of a wing defence transitioning the ball as a coach, as an opposition coach, how do you rectify that?
Oh, it's difficult. You are going to have to just probably meet her and then come off her constantly. She's just so experienced, and the Yarrawonga girls stick the girl, and then on the second last, right towards the end of that third second, they float to where they anticipate the pass is going.
And Ryan on Ella Kingston here, giving the high ball off, and a tip from Symes. Goes in the way of Brooke Bice, but she gives the ball off, and the Pigeons too fast. Kennedy trying
Knew
hard.
she was close.
Knew she was close to that ball being over a third and untouched, and tried to put her toe in, but umpire Jared just a little bit too clever for Tilly Kennedy. She gives a wry smile as the ball comes down, and Ryan bringing that ball again, centering ball. Kennedy with the high ball, and Hanrahan contacting Moore on the baseline. Not a lot of space there for Moore. She takes a deep breath, brushes her hands off, gets ready to take this penalty pass or shot, and it bounces off, and a little tip there from Allen onto Moore. She'll have another go and sinks it. So,
and I think Jared Hibbertson, the umpire, just having a little quiet word to Hanrahan, telling her that's probably enough of that.
Interesting, another timeout call here from the Roos centre. Brooke Bice heading to the bench. Maddie O'Keefe coming on to centre. So trying to make a few changes. 4 minutes to go here on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, and that defensive pressure from Grace Senior trying to do all she can. And Ryan just looking at the pass that she passed to no one over the sideline. Zali
She'll work
Spencer.
double time now to get her hands back on that ball.
And as you say that, Tina Way, she gets the deflection again over that far sideline. Zali Spencer about halfway up the side of the court, gives off, and Kennedy falling in offside for it, trying to get her hands on the ball. Ella Kingston, good positioning from her on the ring to give off to Grace Senior with no one in front of her. An effortless shot. Still a 10-goal lead to the Pigeons. 33 plays 23 on the Martin's Travel Group Albury. And you hear the crowd, the awe there as Hannah Symes looks to come out and attack the ball and takes Ella Kingston out instead. And the pass goes in to Chloe Senior, who makes good. Yarrawonga Pigeons with the centre pass, or Irvine gives off to Allen. Ryan gives off to Moore, coming off at the top of the circle. Ball into Allen in the third, and a contact call.
And Allen's got the hands up pleading. It's got nothing to do with me, and it went the way of the Pigeons as they refeed in. Allen takes a late, it's going to go back out to Tilly Kennedy on the circle, looking for someone to feed to. She gives it to Irvine at the top. Double play to Moore, and she's going to draw the penalty and take a shot. Mid-range shot.
Players working out where it is. Moore just stepping to the side, out of the hands for her 22nd goal of this third quarter. And time has been called for a blood rule, so the interchange between Moore and Casa will happen very quickly. The Pigeons during this third quarter have extended their lead. It is 34 plays 24 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard. Just over 2 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, and the Roos centering ball to Senior, gives off to sister Grace Senior. She turns, and a little bit too much on that one, but Chloe Senior underneath for the rebound, and another goal for her. So they edge one back, but it's the Pigeons centre pass to Carmen Kennedy coming off the line. Heavy defence from O'Keefe, not allowing Kennedy a centimetre, and she's just driving and changing direction and just creating so much space, even though she's not getting the ball.
And we talk about that battle between Zali Spencer and Laura Irvine. They were at it again there, trying to break free Laura Irvine. She manages to take the pass on the circle, finds Maddie Allen, who's going to take about a mid-range shot, puts it up. So Yarrawonga move out to 35 goals, leading Corowa 25 on the Martins Travel Group Albury scoreboard as Corowa take the centre pass.
Tina Way, not long to go here in this third quarter. As a coach, perhaps of Corowa Rutherglen, they need to make the changes here. What would you be doing?
I think Georgie Bruce has got to have to put the standard front line, probably the 4 she's got on now, and it's foreign territory for Corowa to be down by so much. So it's about lifting their spirits and morale, and getting them the belief that they can do this, because this is foreign territory for them.
Yeah, and I think I would agree. They almost need to look, okay, what's their starting 7? Go back to that. And they have to throw everything at the last quarter. And if it's not enough, then that's going to be the team they start with next week. So it's almost a bit of pre-planning, depending on how the result falls today.
And I was just looking at Corowa, they look dejected. They can feel that, this 11-goal lead to Yarra is in netball, that's hard to get back. It's not impossible. But as you said, Tam, they're just going to have to work hard now and go for the strongest 7, I guess, pushing into next week, unless they can, get 6 turnovers.
There are bodies falling everywhere, and we speak about it's not impossible. Albury Tigers made that massive turnaround in that second quarter last week, but it wasn't quite enough as Casa reefs the missed goal there from Allen, and she puts up a shot, but there's a contact on the shot. She drew the contact there, getting M. Larissy out of play. Hanrahan doing all she can over the shot, but an obstruction call as well. So Casa will have a shot here.
She's handed it over.
To Allen after the 3-quarter siren, and Allen, it bounces out as well, and she's disappointed. So the Pigeons go into the start of the fourth quarter with an 11-goal lead, 36 plays 25 here at the John Ford Oval. That is 3-quarter time. We'll be back for the last quarter after the break.
O&M Live. Subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport? And one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
GoTafe is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
inspiring,
hands-on,
flexible, fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
Pain or injury can stop you from living life to the fullest. Albury-Wodonga Private Hospital specialises in advanced orthopaedic services and offers a full range of care from diagnosis to surgery and rehabilitation. Get back to the life you love with our support.
.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero.
At 2AY, we're your home of news, talk, sport and music.
We're community focused, passionate about our region and what makes it great.
We bring you the very latest news that matters, from breaking stories in your backyard to headlines and hot topics from around the country and around the world.
And on weekends, we live and breathe local sport and bring you exclusive live coverage.
1494 2AY. We're your local.
2AY.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball. Thanks to McRae Motors, the second semi-final is going in the way of the Pigeons at the moment. An 11-goal lead to them as we bring to you the final quarter here at the John Ford Oval. I'm Ree Delahenty, joined in commentary with Tamara Matthews, and special comments coming to you today from Tina Way. Cora Rutherglen Roos with the centre pass to start in the hands of Maddie O'Keefe, and a quick drive from her, bringing the ball down. Both defenders for the Pigeons floating to Grace Senior and Chloe Senior, putting up the Pigeons' first goal of this fourth quarter. Can they mark the 11-goal comeback that they need to bring it back to even or 12 to get in front to take the win here today?
Yeah, so a few changes. Liv Lovell's come on for Yarrawonga into that goal defence position, replacing Kylie Leslie. The shooting, Sarah Sanini has come back into shooter with Maddie Allen. Corowa have moved Sophie Hanrahan back to goal defence, with Zali Spencer in behind her at keeper, Maddie O'Keefe to centre, and Chloe Senior, who came on late, is staying in that shooter role. So there's been a lot of changes. Yarrawonga won't lose anything here by bringing Liv Lovell on. She's been playing really good netball. We've seen the last few times that she's taken the court and knows this structure really well. So lucky for them that they have the depth that they do as they try and move it forward. Irvine finds Allen in the pocket. She gives it back to Irvine, who finds more on the baseline, but the bullet passes is too good, and Alison Miani would have got that. She would have pulled that in, Reed, wouldn't she?
Is that who your watch just dinged from? A little bit of feedback coming our way from the goal shooter from the Tigers.
I had some special comments.
She did ask if we had if there was a phone line she could ring through to provide some special comments today. So she may be one we look for some special comments over the next few weeks. And a contact call under the post, going the way of the Roos. Chloe Senior, with the shot in goal shooter, and Symes giving the obstruction call. So both defenders out of play. The Roos with a goal there. They're back to 10-27, trailing the Pigeons 37. And Allen, strong take from her, coming out for that centre pass, and Hanrahan doing all she can to try and get two hands on that contested
And that'll be a
possession.
great matchup, because height-wise and build-wise, they're so similar, aren't they?
And interesting, Zali Spencer going into goalkeeper. I've not seen her play circle defence, definitely wing defence centre. So interesting whether or not just trying something new just to see if she can get a couple of touches on the ball and just really disrupt the timing that's working so well.
Yeah,
for the Pigeons.
she does go back into the circle, and to be honest, I think she can probably play any position on the court. I've seen her shoot as well. So she's a really talented young player, and she'll certainly give it everything back in keeper.
Liv Lovell out of play for the Roos, and the sister combination of Grace Senior and Chloe Senior opting for the pass there, and Grace Senior missing right under the post. Uncharacteristic from her, and Symes an uncharacteristic transition pass there, gives straight to opposition defender in Hanrahan. Chloe Senior with the pass or shot and holding call by the umpire. So both Pigeons defenders again out of play, and Grace Senior makes no doubt. They are down by 9 at 28, plays 37 here on the
An
X-Ray
unlucky
Group
call
scoreboard.
there. She didn't have quite control of the ball, and the players run across the line in their natural momentum, and Unfortunately, offside for goal attack.
Yeah, when things aren't going your way, they're just not going your way, are they?
Oh, and Irvine coming through. I think that ball was for more, and they made good of what could have been a little bit of an error there from the Pigeons, and Hanrahan will stand out of play. Allen 2/3 of the way in the circle. She steps in and takes a beautiful goal. Credit to the Pigeons. This pickup of Maddie Allen has been sensational. No one can really leave her home alone because she can just sink those long balls.
And she has the advantage that she's on the court with a Bridget Cassar or a Sarah Moore who are going to take so much attention. So like I said earlier, she just quietly goes about her business, and a very relaxed, easygoing person, and you can see she slotted into that side really well.
Beautiful pass.
Sarah Moore under the post puts it away. Laura Irvine with the bullet pass into her there as Corowa take the centre trailing. Yarrawonga, Grace Senior finds Kingston on the circle. She looks to go over to Senior on the drive in, but Liv Lover with a great tip flicks it out. Laura Ryan gets the scraps and they're moving it through the centre. Tilly Kennedy with the ball on the transverse. She looks to go to Sanini in the pocket, but great hands there by Em Larris. He picks up the scraps and they'll look to go forward again. Here we are, Yarrawonga hands over, just halting Corowa's momentum. Grace Senior's high on the transverse, bombs it to sister Chloe, and Hannah Symes gives away the contact. So Chloe Senior with a shot, a fair way out. Sneaky little pass to sister Grace, and she'll take a shot right under the post and should put that away. No worries at all. So 10 goals in it, 29 goals to Corowa, trailing Yarrawonga 39 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And we've got 10 and a bit minutes here still to play in this last quarter. The Roos really staying in touch. They're probably putting together a few better passages of play so far. And interestingly, how quiet Tilly Kennedy's start to this fourth quarter has been with that matchup against Em Larissy in wing defence.
Em Larissy definitely, I would say, is beating Tilly Kennedy in that wing defence, wing attack battle there. Tilly had a great third quarter when there was a different wing defender, but yeah, she's shut down straight away.
And another goal from the Pigeons in the hands of Maddie Allen. They are out to 40 goals, leading the Roos 29. Great pass there from Grace Senior. Drop by Chloe Senior, and she drops the ball in. So we're back to 10. 40 plays 30 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
Corowa will really be hoping for a turnover here. They just want to get the momentum back their way and take a little dint out of that 10-goal lead.
Maddie Allen slowing the play down for the Roos, standing out of play, and the pass goes into Moore. She steadies Allen, but Allen's foot just over the edge of the court there, and Zali Spencer with the throw-in. Irvine getting in the way there and not a touch on the ball, so not a great pass from the Roos, just over too many sets of hands. Irvine trying to get the defenders out of the way. Lovell on the transverse line, with the reset, giving to Allen. O'Keefe doing well to keep Irvine to really have to balk that ball to put it in. Maddie Allen on the baseline, out on her own, and there the space opens up for more. She brings the defenders to the top of the circle to give her space and time to drop into, and she drops a goal. So 11 goals the Pigeons are out to now. Kingston for the Roos taking that centre pass. Senior to O'Keefe, and a ball there from her on the run, just too much over it. So Symes, she has been instrumental in this lead for the Pigeons. A couple of her intercepts today have just really been fantastic and been converted by her attackers at the other end. More clever pass to Allen. I don't know if Allen was expecting it, but she gives the ball into Moore in the space, and she puts another goal up. Definitely a contender for our player of the day is Sarah Moore. And Maddie Allen, she just has come on seamlessly in this second half, and that's probably one of the strings to the Yarrawonga bows that they have. Last week, Sarah Moore sat on the bench for that second half quite happily as they extended that lead against the Panthers, and Bridget Cassar is doing the same today.
Yeah, look, we've spoken about their depth, and we've got a force change here. So Maddie O'Keefe for Corowa coming off with an injury. So Brooke Bice will re-enter into that centre position where she played earlier in the game on Laura Irvine as she takes centre pass. Grace Senior, with some great drive off the line, goes back to Bice. She finds Chloe Senior, but they've been forced right back off the circle. Kingston finds Senior, Grace that is, at the top of the circle, and she gets a sneaky little one to sister Chloe under the circle. So some good ball movement there, and really having to keep coming forward. They just can't force the ball over as Yarrawonga take the centre pass. Tilly Kennedy looks to go long high to Sarah Sanini. But Zali Spencer takes the fly and the great intercept.
Sarah Moore never short of a word either, having a chat to umpire Michelle Wilson down the other end on that one with a smile on her face. And Brooke Bice, clever play from her, but just a little bit too much on it. So the Pigeons now with the defensive throw-in. Symes and Ryan happy to double play and double play again. The Pigeons with this 12-goal lead, they can do those double plays for as long as they like. We've got less than 7 minutes to play here in this last quarter. Irvine gives off to Moore outside, and Zali Spencer, doing her best there to try and just interrupt the play.
Yeah, she read that dodge and forced Moore wide, didn't allow her to drop back in. But Sophie Hanrahan trying to come over the top of Moore, and penalty is called against her as they chase the ball up. So Moore with the fairly long-range shot. She'll probably step it in, I'm sure.
And I think that's reflective of the game that Sarah Moore's having, sinking a goal like that. Kingston coming through for the centre pass. She's been great since she came on a wing attack, and Symes, another contender for our player of the day. She did get it last week against the Panthers, and her timing has been exceptional, just reading through and attacking the ball. Shooter-to-shooter pass there. Moore gives off to Irvine. Clever work from Bice just to get around the body of Irvine. Clever footwork there from goal defence in Soph Hanrahan. The Roos now on the attack. They need to get this ball down, and they need to score and score quickly. Senior to Bice, getting Kingston onto that circle edge to feed. Gray Senior turns and gets Symes out of the way, an obstruction call. So Gray Senior with the shot again. She short, and Lovell can't get her hands on the rebound and taps it out. So
Matthews with another touch, racking them up here on the sideline.
We will call that 3 for you, Tam. Which team would you like me to net them against?
Yarrawonga are winning. Put them down for them.
Chloe Senior with the shot for the Roos, and it brings them to 32. So the Yarrawonga Pigeons 12-goal lead here, 44 plays 32 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. We have just 5 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, and it looks like it may be the Pigeons booking themselves in that week's rest before the O&M Netball Grand Final.
Yes, familiar territory for the Yarrawonga Pigeons, that's for sure. It's somewhere they've spent a lot of time over a lot of years, that grand final.
And Kennedy deep in the pocket gives the ball into Allen, and Hanrahan again just really using her feet there to get around Allen, and there wasn't a lot of space behind Allen for her to move. The ball in the pocket right in front of us. Kingston, her ball went over the hands of Senior and into the hands of Bice, so it was an extra pass to get into the circle, but Chloe Senior makes good, and it's a Roos centre pass to come. So they're back within 11. Grace Senior with the ball on the transverse line gives back to Hanrahan, to Larissy, bringing the ball down. Sensible pass there, but behind Brooke Bice. She tries her best to keep the ball in play, but just a little bit too late. So Hannah Symes, the Pigeons with the defensive throw-in in the goal third. Ryan with all the space transitioning the ball. We spoke in the pre-game how both teams, that outlet ball, if they release it, is just so damaging, and Moore can't convert at the other end. So the Roos now, transition ball, Hanrahan over the top to Kingston, given all the space. Chloe Senior turns, Liv Lovell around, but she elevates and takes the ball, just not enough height on it. So the Pigeons now replying, bringing that ball down the court. Lovell bounce pass to Irvine. Space in front of Moore, but she opts to go shorter pass to Lovell. And Irvine, Allen and Hanrahan getting linked up in arms. There's no contact call played there. Allen can get the pass away though. And Kingston... Spencer, in goalkeeper is now out of play. So Allen balks the ball once, misses the shot, but comes in for a great two-handed take on the rebound. And another little miss again, but it was an obstruction call first. So she'll step up, take a little breath and have another shot at goal.
And I think we've got don't be surprised if we get an injury call here from Corowa. Yep, they've called time. So Grace Senior coming off with a suspected leg injury. Can't quite see. And Imogen Taylor, who's up from the B grade, coming into the goal attack position. So she has taken the court a few times for this Corowa team, particularly in the back half of the season.
And Zali Spencer going fishing, leaving Sarah Moore home alone. And well done to Sophie Hanrahan for just pausing at the top of the circle, interrupting that pass so it couldn't go through. Imogen Taylor coming through, cutting the top of the circle. She's not used. She's on the same side of the court as goal shooter in Grace Senior. And the play is interrupted by Laura Ryan, and she's frustrated as she gives away and Hannah Symes has given the contact call. I thought it was an offside call. Chloe Senior with the shot. It misses and the two-handed rebound, so she'll have her opportunity again, and she nets it this time. Pigeons still out by 11. 45 plays 34 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. Just over 2 minutes to play. Imogen Taylor, her first touch since coming in on goal attack, and Symes doing her best to try and get the ball off Chloe Senior, but Chloe holds strong for a shot again and a miss. The Ruse girls fighting over the rebound there. Imogen Taylor, first goal is good. Back to 10 goals. 2 minutes, 1 minute 45, to play here on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock. Irvine gives off to Allen, and Hanrahan not giving her enough space to pass there. The ball comes back level to Irvine. Again, Brooke Bice with the extraction call. Not enough space for that 3 feet more. Clever little use of her footwork to get her closer to the post and nets another goal. She has been brilliant all day today.
She sure has. As Corowa try and score some late goals. Brooke Bice waiting. Imogen Taylor enters through the top. Looks to the refeed. Laura Ryan did everything to try and get a tap to that, but contact call has been made. Comes off the foot of Taylor. Bice with it again. She's forced to go off the circle back to Kingston. She double plays it on to the circle. Chloe Senior's come out. She looks to drive base. Eventually gets through. And a sneaky pass over the top to Imogen Taylor will give her a shot under the post as she puts another one up. So Cora moved to 36, trailing Yarrawonga 46 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard as Yarrawonga take the centre pass. Maddie Allen hard off the line there. Tilly Kennedy with it. She gives off and drives to the pocket but isn't used. So Allen goes back to Ryan on the line. They're just trying to wait for something to open up. Moore eventually does in that goal circle. Quick ball out to Kennedy, gets her closer under the post. And a little ball off to Allen. She puts it up. So Yarrawonga really having a bit of a field day now and just, playing around with it all.
How many subscriptions do you have?
Keeper is actually making it really hard for Sarah Moore on that baseline. We traditionally see Sarah really making that double dodge and being free on the second instance, but Zali Spencer's making Sarah have to do 3 or 4. So that's a really good move from coaching Georgie Bruce. The Ruse girls here on the attack, dying seconds of this last quarter. Ella Kingston with the ball into Imogen Taylor. Cool, calm and collected. She shoots it, but it is too late. It is the Pigeons here taking this second semi-final, 47-36. They will take their ticket into the Ovens and Murray Netball League Grand Final. Tina Wee, that was just a lot of experience from the Pigeons.
It really was. The experience and the patience of the Pigeons really showed, and Georgie Bruce did multiple changes and threw everything she had at that game, but Yarrawonga too good. Bridget Cass had a blinding first quarter and then, somewhat didn't get... Sarah then stepped up in the second quarter and Bridget left the court and they continued to go forward and forward. Just very good netball by that Yarrawonga Pigeon side.
And for the Roos, they'll be disappointed and probably disappointed in the margin as well, but it'll be good for them to have another game next week under their belt before now potentially facing the Pigeons again in a grand final should they get up. And you can see the excitement of the Pigeons girls just congratulating each other. Tamara Matthews has got our Urban Grey, our player of the day for today. Sarah Moore, congratulations.
Thanks,
you played sensationally today.
It was just one of those games where coming into it today I just felt really relaxed this morning. I think because it's a semi and you know that you got a couple of goes at getting into the granny. So obviously the team behind me are absolute stars and that makes my job so much easier just to finish it off for them. So no, it's a pretty good feeling to be in a granny, yeah.
And Tina and I were just talking while Tam went and grabbed you, like the ability.
That wasn't me.
The rain.
I am a mum, but that wasn't
the rain coming down. That Bridget Cassar, stellar first quarter, then kept very quiet in the second quarter. The change was made to bring Maddie Allen on, swing yourself back into goal shooter, which we've seen countless times this season.
Yeah, look, Bridge got hurt a little bit last week in the game against Lavy, so it was more of a, Bridge was just sort of probably managing herself more than anything, so no, it was good. It was good to be able to have that rotation in, and Mads comes on and she shoots like an absolute star. It's just reassuring to know that, whether it be quarter time or half time or the start of the game, that we can just make a couple of changes and change the whole dynamic of the attack end.
And just share who's going to sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Just rotate that around. What a luxury to have.
Bridge had a half
That's right. For me, Hannah Symes, she got the player of the day last week. She went hunting early and just did not stop. She was phenomenal, wasn't she?
And I think that's her natural game, and it just puts doubt, there's been plenty of times I've been on the opposition team against Han, so it's nice to be on her side for a change. But if she goes hunting early, it's not because she's trying to put the fear of death in anyone. No. That's just her natural game to attack the ball. So it's reassuring to know that, if something turns over at our end, that we've got a fairly good side at the other end to back it all up.
And going into a final in a fortnight, what will be the plan of attack next week, having the week off?
Well, my husband's away, so it'll be being a mum, single mum for the weekend. So I was a little bit relieved. I was like, oh, thank God, I won't have to stress about Billy. So
you old girls to be able to rest and recover.
Amongst us, there's a fair few mums and about 11 kids, so it'll be nice just to have a weekend off and not worry about netball for a change.
Awesome. So we will find out where your fate lies next weekend. Sarah Sedini, our O&M Live Player of the Day.
Thanks,
congratulations and all the best for a fortnight.
Good job, Susie.
Awesome. Well, on to tomorrow's game. Lavington plays Wangaratta. Should be a cracker, and now we know that Corowa Glen will face whoever wins that game. It will be very interesting. I'm interested, Tina, where do you think Corowa have to look for next week?
Oh, I think they're going to have to I think Lavington will take the win tomorrow over Wangaratta, so I think they're going to have to. I really would be focusing on what Corowa can do best next week. I wouldn't be worrying too much about the opposition. What can Georgie pull from the strongest seven, and what can they do, and not worry about anyone else.
Awesome, and thank you for getting on board the mic today and providing the special comments. Thanks to Insight Injury Clinic. Tamara Matthews, as always, a big thank you to our sponsors and to you. I look forward to calling tomorrow's sudden death semi-final between the Lavington Panthers and the Wangaratta Magpies. We will broadcast that to you from the Wodonga Bulldogs. But this has been the Yarrawonga Pigeons defeating the Corowa Glen Roos. Continue to have your dial turned to 1494 2AY or head to our live streams to watch all the football action where the minor premiers, Wangaratta Magpies, go into battle again against the Yarrawonga Pigeons. The times they've played this year have been sensational, so it's going to be a cracking game of football down here at the John Ford Oval. The winner will be booking their ticket in the Ovens and Murray Grand Final. My name is Reid Olahenty. This is O&M Live Netball, proudly brought to you by McRae Motors. This is O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
How many subscriptions do you have? One for entertainment? And one for news? And meditation? One for sport, and one for music? Whatever you're into, you can now manage select paid subscriptions in one place and save up to 10% with Optus SubHub. Discover what's trending and save by bundling them all together. Streamline your subscriptions with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SS&A.
GoTape is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
Inspiring.
hands-on,
Flexible. Fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
Pain or injury can stop you from living life to the fullest. Albury-Wodonga Private Hospital specialises in advanced orthopaedic services and offers a full range of care from diagnosis to surgery and rehabilitation. Get back to the life you love with our support.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero.
At 2AY, we're your home of news, talk, sport, and music.
We're community focused, passionate about our region and what makes it great.
We bring you the very latest news that matters, from breaking stories in your backyard to headlines and hot topics from around the country and around the world.
And on weekends, we live and breathe local sport and bring you exclusive live coverage.
1494 2AY. We're your local.